it looks like to dedicate 2 years of your life to just setting off the best Halloween that I could pull off. And this is a total different reaction that we discovered in all our months of planning, called Devil's Toothpaste, which is insanely reactive and super dangerous. And all we need now is someone to pull the huge surprise for, and that's where my friend Quilly comes in. And now all you need to know about Quilly is that we've been friends for 2 years, and it's been a really fun time being friends with Quilly. So I thought, why not return the favor and just give him the coolest Halloween party ever, and invite a couple more friends as well. And what he doesn't know is that he's going to be able to set off the huge Devil's Toothpaste. And also we're going to have a huge Halloween party, which we're just going to have a blast. Oh, and after giving Logan a suspicious present, which was actually a jar of crickets, I felt a little bad, so he's also going to come to the Halloween party, not just Luke and his friends, also Logan and a few more people that are close. And maybe one more little surprise that will be coming up later in the video. And so after Logan eating the biggest cricket I've ever seen by a factor of 4, oh, and as a quick refresher, last year I've tried to break a record with 2 spinning elephant toothpaste, which we could improve on. So this year I'm coming back to the brutal challenge of trying to set off just the biggest elephant toothpaste that I could pull off, just to make the best party ever with all my friends for Halloween. So even the characters from Hotel Transylvania will be jealous. Plus a totally different reaction that we discovered in all our months of planning that I'll mention later in the video. And I should mention, last year we did a spinning elephant toothpaste, but this year we're gonna test out a totally different reaction that we found out a few months ago after all our months of prep work, for a huge bubble of foam to go literally in the air and cause all the children to enjoy it, and so they can have the best Halloween ever and share it to you guys. Oh yeah, and we were going to do the big pool party that we planned 2 months ago, and a huge reaction of foam. And I should mention, all the flasks that we bought last year were really useful, but the diameter size was not perfect because it was too big, and it looked kind of cool, but it didn't really go that high. And the problem is illustrated here. The diameter is basically the length and radius, which is equal to D equals 2R, which is how you measure any circle's circumference, which is an important variable for the outlet size of any flask that we use. And all these tests were really insightful, including something we stumbled upon called Devil's Toothpaste, which is highly reactive and super dangerous. I'll explain why in a minute, but for now, here's a hint. And now here's the reaction in real time. And my reaction is very understandable, because if you look this up on the internet, how to make Devil's Toothpaste, there are very few results. Otherwise, there's banned CGI, and I'll tell you exactly how to make it. You first start off with 200 millimeters of, and you're good to go. And so I'm taking some very risky chances. We intended on making a huge Devil's Toothpaste for Halloween. And as a quick refresher, here's a normal reaction of elephant toothpaste. No big deal, people have been doing this for years. But again, here's the same volume of reactants, but Devil's Toothpaste. And if we use any more quantity of devil's toothpaste, it becomes unsafe. The reaction happens so incredibly fast that in the end product, I won't be able to dip the catalyst in and run away fast enough. So we need to come up with some mechanism to dip the catalyst in from a far distance. Because there are incidents that we hold dear that we don't want to happen again. Which is explained over here. So we have a tub of H2O2 with a catalyst on top, and then we have that hanging on a pole, and then the catalyst comes out the top, and then we slide the whole thing. But this whole mechanism won't work, and I'll explain why in a minute. As you can see, I pour the catalyst around the hydrogen peroxide, and that just makes the whole reaction 10 times bigger, and that's why I can't hold the catalyst in my hand anymore, because that's just unsafe and we need some other way. And so in true end of summer fashion, it was time to stop preparing for the massive devil's toothpaste plus a huge pool party for Halloween. And so after feeling relatively confident about the underwater-proof camera from last month, I hopped into the water and checked out the shots for my first test. And those shots look pretty good, so I was feeling pretty good about the underwater-proof camera. And we had lots of other problems that I won't bore you with, but day by day we started getting better and better. And honestly, I've started to feel more and more confident this is gonna work for our final product. And in the end, we ran a lot of tests on things like does neck length have an effect, and how much foam comes out at 32% hydrogen peroxide. All those things were super insightful, and so we're feeling confident enough to reclaim my title for the best elephant toothpaste that I pulled on Halloween for 2021. And so if this whole thing was a bust, it wouldn't be from lack of trying. And so with Halloween exactly 1 week away, it was time to have an epic pool party for Halloween. Exploring a bit around our neighborhood, but don't forget this creepy footage that you're about to see is 1 week before Halloween, and it literally felt like that night was literally Halloween because the whole vibe for the village was legitimately creepy. Like, we found 100 precarious situations that you'll have to wait for a future video. And so after spending much more time than we should have, it was time to move on to stage 2. And we'll be doing the devil's toothpaste on this huge land of grass that is full of dead grass, which is perfect for our devil's toothpaste. And this may or not be intentional of putting a beware sign right next to the whole field. And in case you don't get that, there's a poster right next to the gate. And so after one more test of everything, first the devil's toothpaste and the dumping mechanism, making sure nothing breaks or faults, so we're ready for the day 100%. And so later that day, people starting to show up to help set up for the house for Halloween. And so here's a 20-second montage of us setting up. And then after we put the sweets on our porch, we would drive to the field where we do the devil's toothpaste, and then set up there, and then do the huge devil's toothpaste, and then go trick-or-treating. So when we finished setting up the house, we went down to the field to set up for the devil's toothpaste for the big finale of the devil's toothpaste this year. And it was all hands on deck to set up the devil's toothpaste before it got dark, so we could do it in time for everyone to enjoy it and we would still have a crowd. So as the crowd started to show up, we first started with a small experiment with tinfoil, which looks pretty cool.
Make a little explosion out of a little bit of tinfoil from your kitchen and some pool acid. What this does is it generates hydrogen, and I'm going to put the cap back on very quickly, and the pressure will build up really high inside the bottle and then it'll explode. Shall we do this?
Yeah.
Are you guys keen to react? Right, we stand back and watch. There's the hydrogen.
You can literally see the bottle inflating, about to blow up, which looks really cool. It's technically like an acid rocket. And now time for the experiment we've all been waiting for.
2, 1. Oh my
And now here's the reaction in slow motion. The reaction is much hotter, so it makes these really cool bubble formations, which is coming up now.
Oh wow!
it finally came down to this moment of the huge Devil's Toothpaste of this year. And this is really a big improvement from last year, which it now feels all worth it for going through all the things that we went through for the Devil's Toothpaste. And I have something to show for it. And so when we were finished with the Devil's Toothpaste, we wrapped it all up in this red top and we took it back home. And so with the Devil's Toothpaste out of the way, we went for an awesome trick-or-treat, which later we probably got about 100 sweets each. We're gonna have a nice time at home, share our sweets, and get diabetes. Now we're heading back home. Earlier this month, YouTube launched this new campaign called Team C's. Get creative, get some money to donate to Team C's, and not to mention Team Trees to help broaden understanding of trees and cleaning up the ocean day by day to just make the oceans as clean as possible so we can help the planet for the better. To leave me with really high hopes for Team C's and Team Trees to just grow as a campaign that everyone supports. And I'd like to think for future generations of little plants that grow in the ground to help the future generations of whatever humankind are going to live for the rest of the life that planet Earth has to offer.